The fact that you're reading this book means you're onto something. Maybe a particular event burst the bubble, and a small gap opened up as a result. A gap in what, you're not sure, but you felt it. It happened when a significant person in your life went that little bit too far, and you finally said to yourself, "This is not normal. Why am I tolerating this crap?" You didn't really know what normal was, but you knew that the union which you have with this person is definitely not it. Through this small gap which opened up, you may have begun to realize some or all of the following about your relationship. It's unbalanced. The other person seems to have the upper hand and the final say, and you have to struggle to get on equal footing with them. Their problems get top priority. When you try to express or assert yourself, the other person finds a way to subdue you and bring the focus back onto them. It's manipulative. Like being under a spell, the other person seems to have an uncanny ability to pull your strings and get their way with you. Often you don't want them to, but it just happens. When you try to influence them in any way, you're met with so many obstacles you give up. It's intrusive. They have a permanent place in your mind. There doesn't seem to be any psychological separation between you and them, and they enter your emotional space effortlessly. You find yourself craving some separation and psychological air, but end up feeling enormous guilt. Being a distinct individual in control of your destiny does not feel like an option with them in your life. It's rigid. You don't experience much growth from the relationship, and it doesn't go anywhere fast. It feels ritualistic, and you wish there were more to it. It's exhausting. You walk on eggshells around that person. There's no particular reason. Simply being around them makes you anxious, like you don't quite stack up, and you have to prove yourself to them. It's oppressive. It's taken for granted that the other person is superior to you. Spending time with them leaves you with a hopeless sense of inferiority. It's hollow. The relationship feels empty and sad, and you don't get much emotional nourishment from it. It's perplexing. You can never seem to find solid ground. There's always a drama which must be addressed, or something which the other person is unhappy about that you feel you need to fix. You crave peace and security, but somehow it always eludes you. It sucks you in. There seems to be an invisible force which sucks you toward the other person. Even when you disconnect for a while, all it takes is a simple question to draw you back in and distract you from your task. You feel powerless to resist this emotional force, which seems to take on a life of its own. Then one thing leads to another, and you find yourself Googling narcissistic personality disorder. You read a few articles, and your jaw drops. After the initial shock wears off, you investigate further. You read the forums, and you realize that a countless number of people share your experience. You learn the lingo: gaslighting, idealize, devalue, discard, triangulation, hoovering, and baiting. You put the pieces together and begin to see that many of these tactics have been done to you at some stage. It's like your life story is being told to you. You begin to wonder, can this be true? Do people like this really exist? You read on. Finally, it hits you with full force. You realize that you're not crazy. What you've been experiencing all this time is definitely real. People like this do exist. Not only do they exist in the world, they exist in your world. You don't know whether to laugh or cry. You feel rage, sadness, and despair, and a little bit of relief. You walk around with a sense of lightness, but also with a sense of having been stained somehow. Your entire reality has been turned on its head. You start questioning your core instincts. You realize that the relationship dynamics which you accepted and took as gospel are both unhealthy and grossly manipulative. You start to look at people differently. You monitor their behavior, even that of people you have known for years or a lifetime. The picture is not entirely clear. What is clear, however, is that you have a problem with narcissists, and you're only just waking up to it.